Hello and welcome to the Juan Toscano-Anderson episode of the Hoop Theory Podcast, aka episode 95, which is in honor of him arguably being the best player to ever wear the jersey number 95, the other candidate for that title being DeAndre Bembry. Recording this one on the evening of Tuesday, July 30th in the year of our Lord 2024. My name is Logan Wortman, and as usual, I am joined by my turbulent co-host, Jacob Roth. Jacob, how does it feel to be on the Juan Toscano-Anderson episode?
I am probably going to be pretty turbulent here today, but I will do my best. I think I have a pretty nuanced take on what we're going to talk about a little bit, as opposed to some Celtics fans who are just irate, as opposed to calm, cool, and collected, as like I'd like to think that I am. Also, like, was the 95 draft like a dud? Like, whose draft? That was KD's draft, or KG's draft, wasn't it?
KG was the best player from that draft for sure, but he has already had an episode title.
The big ticket has already received an episode.
Episode 5.
That was not trying to be disrespectful to Spanish legend, Juan Toscano-Anderson. Not Spanish. I did this earlier, too.
He's from Oakland, California. Yeah.
Not Spanish at all.
Yeah.
Oakland's best. Oakland's finest.
Uh-huh. Which 95, I guess, has something to do with Oakland, because that's the reason he wears that number, is in honor of Oakland. I don't know what that...
Maybe they became a city in 1895, and they are coming up quickly on a major milestone anniversary. I don't want to do the math on which one it would be, but we're coming up on a 5, so it would be a big-ish one. A 0. A decade. Or it'd be like probably, if it was like 18. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm doing good. Love it. First off, usually in the jersey box, ever since we've gotten done with the season, the past couple eps, I just throw my hand in the jersey box and I wiggle it around and I grab one. Today, this one has intent. For those that don't know who wears number 9, I was going to turn around, but you wouldn't be able to hear me. Who wears number 9 on the New England Patriots? His name is Matthew Judon, and pay that man. He was a very vocal proponent of trying to get players to come to New England, despite their negative reputation in terms of you come there to play and win, but not necessarily to have a great time. And he was like, hey, come on, let's get a good team here in New England. Let's do this stuff. It's a new coach. Shout out Gerard Mayo, Tennessee Volunteer legend, New England Patriot legend. Big deal. I think, yeah, I'm not even going to question myself. I'm positive that's correct. So pay Matt Judon. He's making $6.5 million. He is one of our best defensive players. And if Christian Barmore, prayers up to him, does have blood clots, or Barmore, then we do have issues. Pay Matt Judon. Not basketball related, but Robert Kraft is an avid listener of the pod, as everyone probably knows. So just get some things worked out. Pay Matt Judon. That is all. For the audio listeners, I'm wearing a away New England Patriots Matt Judon jersey. So
very descriptive. Added in the away and everything.
Well, no, because it's white. I feel like I think the home New England Patriots jerseys kind of suck. I feel like the away ones, because these are a redesign from when they won Super Bowls, like a retooling. Mm-hmm. I don't like the new ones at all, but I feel like the away one, there's something about the crisp. I like the crispiness of it. I am a sucker for red and white. I will admit I'm a big fan of, like, I just feel like red and white just pops without any extra help. So I just like the red and the white touching. I like these jerseys. But if we do want to do a rebranding, it's okay. Bring back the silver pants if we're talking about Patriots soapboxes.
Yeah.
Get these stupid navy pants the heck out of here. Bring me silver or bring me death, and that is all.
Yeah, I agree. I don't care about anything that you just said, really, but I do second that. So
bring me silver or it's probably gray. Bring me gray or bring me death. And alternate helmets would be sick too. Anyway, we're moving on to another sport that matters, basketball. Yeah. Some of you might have heard of it if you're listening. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Before we get into that, though, be sure to check out the Patreon, buy me a coffee. The links of all that stuff is in the description of the show or episode, wherever you're watching this. or listening, not to discriminate, the senses that you're using to consume this content. Rate the show on Spotify or wherever you can.
4.3 out of 10.
We would really appreciate that. Yeah, whatever number you want, honestly, because it's up to you. It's your opinion. It's subjective.
Listen, everybody knows the rules.
So subscribe and follow the feed as well. And check out the mailbag at hooptheory.mailbag@gmail.com. And by check out, I mean send us your questions so we can react to them. And
they can be football related, basketball related, college sports related, life related, recipe related.
Yeah.
Anything outside of those categories, probably not. I'm just kidding. You could ask about really anything you wanted. Our goal is just like sometime during this off season, do just a whole episode that's just a big old mailbag palooza.
Yeah. So we need to get some good ones. Or you can tweet at us
also, probably. Do whatever.
Honestly, I'll have to pay attention to that, but that will also be an avenue for submitting some questions for the mailbag. But like Jacob was alluding to, the first topic we're going to be moving into has to do with the Olympics, with basketball. That's the sport that this show is about, obviously, Hoop Theory. I've not really paid attention to the Olympics outside of basketball so far, to be quite honest. But that's okay, because that's all we're going to be talking about here today. And the biggest story, really, from at least as far as this podcast is concerned, is probably the Tatum DNP from the first game against Serbia. Steve Kerr did not play Jason Tatum at all. For those who don't know what DNP means. But yeah. Jacob, I guess, what are you said you had a nuanced take on this. Lay that out.
It's not nuanced. I just feel like, as opposed to the regular Celtics fan circles that I find myself on in the internet, I'm a lot more like, they won, it's fine. Do I like it? Absolutely not. Do I feel like Steve Kerr knows ball today more than I did before the game on Sunday? Absolutely not. I think I texted you.
Yeah.
My confidence in knowing that Steve Kerr knows nothing about basketball has nothing but strengthened after watching that game. One thing that does bum me out, I wish the main storyline wasn't Jason Tatum didn't play, and it was Kevin Durant is a freak. Just a freak.
Which is why I hesitated, because I feel like that might be the biggest headline still. It's just, as far as this podcast is concerned, maybe.
I think that was the biggest headline, through the game, and then after that, it just, pushed to the negative, because that's what all talking heads and all media platforms do, as opposed to celebrating one of the just prettiest 17 minutes of basketball that I have ever seen of Kevin Durant coming off the bench. It was awesome. It was art. He was having a good time. He was smiling. He raised the not just with passing, but everyone around him looked like they started playing looser and having more fun when he just started just drilling everything. And I get when you're down, you don't play as loose, but Steph, after KD had all these things, was kind of struggling from 3-point land, and then he finally gets one to hit. It's on this insane catch, spin around, buzzer at the half. It was awesome. Love to see that. Love to see Team USA look good. Love to see Joel Embiid only get 11 minutes because he still can't play well. And if it feels almost like Steve Kerr was like, you know what I'm going to do, Joel? Go out there and play against Jokic. This will be funny for everyone back home. Just do your best, buddy. And then, everyone should have known, Bam Adebayo and Anthony Davis on the court at the same time. That makes things pretty difficult for Jokic. Even though Jokic was, in his own right, playing very, very well. It took every ounce of, Hall of Fame future that this United States team had to make this not a close game. Jokic did his damnedest to make it a close one.
Yeah.
But getting back to the main thing, which is the Jason Tatum did not play DNP coach's decision. The thing that has me the most upset, if this was a nail-biting game, just down to the wire, I would get it. Kevin Durant's hot, having the game, not of his life, because he has a bunch of insane Olympic offensive performances. But Kevin
as
Durant
good of a game as you can have.
Is having a great game.
Yeah.
LeBron has turned back the clock and looks great. I mean, Booker was the best shooter for the Team USA outside of KD. But from 3-point land, Booker was hitting everything. It was Like, nothing about it irritated me. Except for, I was not mad about it because they won. That's what happens. The people that Tatum would have replaced minutes of were out. But it was the comment by Steve Kerr that says, I was just trying to get lineups that would be able to like counter theirs. I just wanted to get like lineups that made sense and worked against theirs. That's the comment that sent me over the edge. Because there is not a team. Also, Steve Kerr, we don't need 3-guard lineups. You have some of the best forwards in the history of basketball. Just play forwards. Stop this 3-guard lineup crap. Makes me mad. Getting back to my point. Jason Tatum not playing as like, and my thought was, don't start Jason Tatum. Don't cut into KD's minutes. But like, it's been pretty vocal that like, oh, LeBron probably doesn't have as much in the tank as previous Olympics. So why the F did he lead the team in minutes? Yeah. I get that he was playing well, but in that game, going into the fourth quarter, you're up by almost 20. Mm-hmm. Like, let Tatum play the fourth quarter. Let Halliburton play the fourth quarter because LeBron does that weird point forward thing. Just, if we're worried about LeBron being there in the big moments, which it appears that we need him, unless KD's going to come back and look like this all Olympics.
Yeah.
Why would we make him play more minutes? It's by 1 minute, but that's not we had him play 27 minutes. Mm-hmm. Like, if we didn't need that, why? What's the purpose?
I'm guessing it's probably he just wants to see a decent amount of stretch, like minute-long stretch with the lineups that he was talking about that he wanted to see.
But then also, why would you construct lineups like in your brain that have Joel Embiid as a starter?
Well, I think that's just kind of like the phantom, like, oh, he's going to be a starter just because he's Joel Embiid, but he's not been playing well, so we're going to sub him out pretty early.
That's the thing that also irritates me. Previously, in previous years with Team USA, there's always been this stupid saying, pay your dues. Not everybody gets to go in and be a starter, gets to do stuff right away. Pay your dues. Jason Tatum has paid his dues, not more than anybody ever has, but you can't say that he's gone on Olympics and he's came off the bench. He's gone to those weird in between the Olympics, the FIBA World Cups. He's gone to those things. Yeah. You can't really pay your dues more than that.
Yeah, so he did Joel the 2019 FIBA World Cup and then the 2021 Olympics, which was the 2020.
Yeah, that weird thing.
Yeah.
But he didn't in the Philippines. He did not in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm. He would have been the best player on the team, though, if you, like, him and Ant, probably. But
like, my thought was just, like, that just made me, like, that part of it, it just was more the thing of, like, this is not, like, I get why Jason Tatum didn't play, like, a little bit. Like, the way that the game played out, I get it. Because maybe Tatum was supposed to split, like, some of the KD minutes if he didn't look great coming out the gates and some of the LeBron minutes. Maybe that's what it was supposed to be. But, like...
Well, I don't know if it was supposed to be any of... Because what Steve Kerr said, like, he apparently talked to Tatum before the game and said that this might happen, which I'm guessing just means that he said that this probably will happen. Which, like he said, that's not going to... He's like, next game or very soon, like, Tatum's probably going to be the one getting... 20 minutes. Like, it's going to be changing. He's going to be trying out different things. I guarantee
this is what's going to happen because of damage control. The starting 5 next game is going to be Steph, Booker, Tatum, LeBron, AD.
Wow. Why are you making that prediction?
He's going to start Tatum as like a damage control thing. Like, I didn't mean to disrespect him because stupid Kendrick Perkins, that's disrespect on Jason Tatum's name. And I thought disrespect feels a bit strong.
Yeah, I feel like Kerr, I mean, you should just stick with the plan that he had going. Because, like, if we're going to believe him, which I don't know why you wouldn't, he's Jason Tatum. Like, Steve Kerr knows how good Jason Tatum is. He was just saying this is the first game with KD back, and he was trying to try whatever lineups that he had in his mind. I think there was 3 lineups that he was, like, wanting to toggle between. And just to see like the fit of them basically. But my question is, why don't you try those in the showcase games? But I guess the rebuttal to that would be, this is the first game with KD
wasn't playing.
Yeah. So,
but what I just don't get is how a guy just won an NBA championship, is one of the more versatile guys on your team, in terms of you can really ask him to do whatever, and he can kind of just do it. How there's no world that he fits into any of those. And the only way that I come up to the conclusion is he's not had great shooting. He's been in a slump since playoffs, essentially, where he hasn't been shooting great. But that's the thing in FIBA, nobody shoots great. That's what made Kevin Durant's thing even crazier.
Mm-hmm.
If you take out KD's 5 for 5, Team USA shot 13 for 27, which is just under 50%, which isn't bad, but it's
it's very good. Yeah.
LeBron was 1 for 3. Book shot really well too. Book was 4 for 5.
I think everybody
Steph was
shot
3 for 7.
Pretty well, other than, LeBron was 1 for 3.
And then Bam's threes don't count.
Yeah, he was 0 for 2. Embiid was 0 for 1, and Derek White was 0 for 1. Those were the only ones that were people that were below 40%. Everybody else was 40% or above.
And then, I don't know if you have seen the conspiracy theories. I don't know if you've seen this at all.
About what?
I'm about to enlighten you. Okay. I do not, as a preface, I do not subscribe to these conspiracy theories. Because that's about the only thing that you can call these. It all started because Grant Hill on the Dan Patrick Show called Jaylen Brown a conspiracy theorist.
Okay.
About the whole Team USA thing, I'm guessing. And then Jaylen...
Was there important... was there a way that he said it that... how did he...
jokingly?
Okay.
Not, I guess jokingly is the context.
Yeah.
Without going in it, but jokingly was well, we don't need to be the whole conspiracy theorist thing. I don't have the exact quote in my brain, but it felt kind of jokingly. Anyway, then Jaylen Brown on Twitter tweeted, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I've been the VP since I was 21. I don't know what that means. I have no clue what that means. But
the Players Association, right? Isn't that what he means?
Oh, that never clicked. That didn't click on me. That's probably a zillion % correct.
Yeah, I think that's what he means.
Yeah, no, but I'm stupid. Shocker to no one. Thank you for that context. It solves so many. I thought Jaylen Brown was going crazy, but no, that's not going crazy.
I don't know if that's
stating
proof that you're not a conspiracy theorist, I guess, but
real conspiracy theorists on the internet think that Team USA / Nike / the Olympic Committee / whatever didn't like the press that the Jaylen Brown stuff was getting. So, I believe it's Chris Vernon's the one that worded it this way.
So
what's the best way to get people to stop talking about Jaylen Brown? Play his replacement 16 minutes, and then don't play Jaylen or Jason Tatum at all. Because then immediately, all of the brain power that people have to think about Celtics players just disappears from Jaylen Brown, and it's just, why the F didn't Jason Tatum play?
Yeah, I guess.
But the thing that just gets me is, why take 10 why take 12 players? Halliburton, I get it. It's a younger guy, but
it's a 40-minute game. They're not going to play everybody every single game.
But most years, there's 2 people that are I'm not going to play. I get it. It makes sense.
Yeah, which I think that this needs to be felt out still on who those players are going to be.
I just don't think it's a universe where it's the best player on the last team that won the NBA championship.
I doubt that it's going to be Tatum either, but I mean,
I would just rather, honestly, I would prefer that, there's just some fringe guy that doesn't even get asked and they have another just guy that's more okay to, and maybe Tatum, and maybe I'm sticking up for Tatum more than I need to. Maybe Tatum is cool with it, and he's I'm good with whatever.
I'm sure he probably was. Yeah, I would be surprised if he wasn't.
Maybe his ego's able to just be I don't care, but it would have pissed me off for sure.
If you were talked to about it, in the days leading up.
That part of it, I think, fixed, obviously this was not known in the uproar right after the game and during the game, where's Jason Tatum?
Yeah.
He's looked good in all these where's Jason Tatum?
Mm-hmm.
But I still think it would be like, okay, this is...
Yeah, I if I was the coach, I would have found a way to get Jason Tatum in the game. Let's be clear.
My thing is, you're up by 15. Why does LeBron need to play the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
Like, why? A guy that you're worried, like, I don't want to say worried about, but a guy that everyone is consciously like, let's not stretch his minutes for no reason. And then we have him play the most on the team. If it was Ant that got 27 minutes, Ant's not, like, he doesn't need to sit down. I'm not convinced he does. I'm convinced he just sits awake and watches the ping pong finals. Or badminton finals or whatever he was doing today. But that's the biggest question mark that I can't fathom.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Why 10 minutes could not have been found.
Yeah, I understand.
7 minutes couldn't have been found.
To me, I just don't feel. I feel like it just depends on the coach that you're going with. Like some coaches are wanting to, like they don't want to just try to play everybody a little bit just to do that because
no, for sure.
You're just. But obviously, you wouldn't just be doing that with like. I get the wanting to have more of a sustained stretch of each of the lineups. Like that's just a certain mindset or a certain approach. With how bad
they've been playing, I think there's a real argument that Joel Embiid should be the one that is a DNP.
I don't think that's crazy.
I think Anthony Davis should start at center and Joel Embiid be a DNP.
So all the center minutes are between AD and Bam?
You could put LeBron or Tatum at the center. Probably Tatum because you wouldn't want LeBron down there. Obviously, that would not work in the Serbian matchup. But there's matchups where that would work fine.
Or France.
France, it definitely would not work.
Yeah.
That would be the worst idea to do. But I feel like Joel Embiid is going to be exposed on a national stage that he is not healthy when we play France, if we play France. It's going to be very bad. And I don't think it's because Joel Embiid's a bad player. I just don't think he's healthy. I don't think he's 100% yet. And that's totally fine. But just take the Kawhi route and, like, admit it publicly instead of just looking bad for 10 minutes a game.
Yeah, it's weird. And also just the continued insistence on trying to draw fouls that he's like, it's like they're, like, I'm like, just give it up.
He had 3 fouls in 11 minutes. He had 3 fouls in 11 minutes.
Yeah.
So not only is he not drawing fouls, he's fouling. Granted, he was on an absolute menace. Like that's going to get just milk every foul out of you possible. I don't know. I just was more irritated about the Steve Kerr stuff afterwards. Being like, I felt like an idiot. Then don't feel like an idiot. You're the head coach. Or don't say, well, it just never really fit. You cannot tell me that you cannot fit Jason Tatum into a lineup. That's insanity.
Okay, to be fair, he didn't say that. And he said that going like in the next game or so, they will be playing Tatum. He just said, I wanted to see, there was certain lineups I wanted to get to in this game. And I told Tatum beforehand that this might happen because I was trying to, he's like, but he's Jason Tatum. Obviously, he's going to be playing some games moving forward as well. Like it's not going to be a set like rotations yet of like who is not going to be playing and who is.
Yeah. No, for sure.
So I feel like it, just like most things, it became a very large overreaction. But I get, obviously, a player of that caliber not playing. It's never happened
really before to this extent.
To this extent, yeah, probably not.
To a level of a fringe top 5 player on planet Earth. Because he's top 5 in the NBA, ergo he's top 5 on planet Earth.
Yeah,
Not playing in an Olympic game. Also, do you know who had the 7th best Olympics in the history of the Olympics in terms of point per game and shooting efficiency? Jason Tatum in Tokyo. The only people above him on that list are LeBron, I think, 2 times. No, it's Kevin Durant 3 times because Kevin Durant turns into somebody else.
So these are all USA players?
Just for Team USA.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 3 Kevin Durants, a LeBron. Then there was like a weird one.
Melo?
Not a weird. It's one Melo, one of Melo's runs, and then maybe that's it. Maybe Tatum's next. But behind him, Kobe's best year in the Olympics is behind what Jason Tatum was in Tokyo.
Oh, you're
Michael
saying
Jordan's
year.
best. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you were saying
like
game.
Best overall Olympic run, not game.
Okay.
Overall Olympic run.
So then I don't know if Melo would be over him then. Probably not.
He is. I think Melo was the spot right above him.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, my point, it's not like he's like a guy that doesn't work in international play. Because he has, and your brain wouldn't even think that if you look at him playing.
Yeah.
But
no, for sure.
The initial feeling before I got into like the internet firestorm was, we won. It seems dumb to me, but who cares? We won. Red, white, and blue. Let's go. Star Spangled, like let's roll. Get the gold, get in, get out.
I think it makes a little bit more sense when you think about like the people ahead of him at that spot. That's like
with how they played.
Yeah,
that's
and
the only
who they
thing
are.
that makes sense to me. Yeah.
In the
it's
Team
a weird
USA
year.
context. Yeah. Because I mean,
LeBron will be gone next time. KD will probably be gone next Olympics.
I would assume.
You'd assume.
40. Yeah, he'd be 39. He'd be where LeBron is right now.
So maybe KD's around, but like
maybe.
So like those are the two people that literally are Tatum's spot.
But Tatum would be past him at that point, I would say.
No, for sure. Like it wouldn't be but I'm saying it's a weird year in the fact that there's just this weird. Steph honestly might not be there for the next Olympics.
Probably not.
There's like a lot of guys that'll probably rotate out.
First Olympics,
which feels crazy. You look at that 2020 team; it feels crazy. Steph wasn't on it.
Yeah.
Or was he on the Tokyo team and then he backed out when it changed years?
Well, yeah, he didn't. He decommitted from last Olympics.
Okay.
Yeah.
My brain said that and then remembered that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which I think LeBron did also, right? LeBron didn't play last Olympics, I'm pretty sure.
No, because it was Jason Tatum and KD that cooked.
And Drew Holiday was like and Dame, I think.
Zach LaVine was on the team.
Court. Yep.
It was just it doesn't feel like
was one of our centers.
But JaVale McGee's like a guy that he's like a Derek White. Like he makes sense why he's on an Olympic team to me. He's a guy that can DNP and it's not like earth-shattering. It doesn't even make a headline at all.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that Tyrese Halliburton nobody talks about him getting a DNP which like it makes sense because it's just such a stacked. It's like we're choosing between 12 of the best players in the world. It's like not an insult.
Yeah. The only thing that I understood is in this matchup why like Tyrese didn't play was the defensive side. But if there's like a team that doesn't have that doesn't have the guards to be an answer for Tyrese Halliburton's just offense, it would blow my mind if he didn't play and Derek White did. Not that Derek White can't do some of the things that Halliburton can, which is way better defense, but Halliburton's like a different monster.
Yeah.
Like Halliburton Ant running the second unit will feed families for generations.
Yeah.
Just because of like the sheer, both of them want to play at 101 miles per hour.
Uh-huh.
And they both can.
And they want to do the opposite roles of doing that. Yeah. So it fits together perfectly.
I would like to see that more. Maybe Steve Kerr will choose that's one of the lineups he'd like to workshop with.
Mm-hmm.
Because that one sounds more fun than Jason Tatum not playing to me. But anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm not as mad as some people. I don't think disrespect, I think, is the wrong word. Especially after it came out, which, like you said, there's no reason to not believe him, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That he talked to Tatum before and was like, this is probably what's going to happen. Or I think he even said it more diplomatically than that in the presser. But in reality, he probably just was like, hey, probably not going to see the court much or at all against Serbia.
Yeah.
It just feels weird against one of your hardest matchups not to have one of the best players. That feels weird to me.
No.
Just...
But
like,
then,
I understand.
I guess just going from the most cohesive lineup standpoint to him, like it makes a little bit of sense. It's like...
he fits in anywhere.
But not necessarily ideally compared to like Derek White.
And I guess when you're that good, the ideally is like a more important factor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. To some people, and I don't think that's necessarily wrong. You know what I mean? I don't think it's wrong to play him also. It's like once you get to this good of a team,
if
it's
we
just
play
like
Serbia again and Joel Embiid plays, I'm burning my computer. I'm setting it ablaze.
So you're that adamant about him having to get a DNP?
No, I shouldn't say plays, but if he
starts,
starts and Jason Tatum doesn't play, I will be livid.
Okay.
Against Serbia.
Yeah.
Because very clearly, having Joel Embiid sides against Serbia didn't help. Because for some reason, the worksheet thing I'm looking at doesn't have plus minuses, but I can promise you it's not good. I can Christmas promise you Joel Embiid's plus minus is definitely a minus.
Barely, but yeah, it's -1.
I don't see the plus minus on mine.
Yeah, but it was the only. No, actually, it was. I was looking at the wrong column. I was looking at efficiency, which he was a -1 in player efficiency. He was -8 in plus minus, and the next lowest was a +8 from Devin Booker.
So if there's a if he plays one less minute with Kevin Durant, that's -15.
Yeah.
That's being dramatic, but it just, in 11 minutes, every minute he was on the court, it was almost worth a point down.
I mean, Jokic was a 0 in plus minus, which they lost by the score was 110 to 84, which by quick math that's 26.
Yeah, 26.
Yeah.
26-point game.
So how many minutes did he not play?
9.
9, yeah.
In the 9 minutes Jokic did not play, it was -26 for Serbia.
It's kind of crazy to score 26 points in 9 minutes. Not that crazy, but that's not a small amount to just score flat out.
Yeah,
as a team. But the fact that was the advantage. That was the discrepancy in the score.
So my rant, I gave a little shout out. Jokic was cooking.
Mm-hmm.
There was some,
and his shot wasn't even falling, and neither had honestly, this game in the first half, it could have been a very different game if Kevin Durant missed just one or two of his shots.
No, if Kevin Durant was Captain L'America.
Yeah.
Have you seen that this guy added a Basketball Reference? The Team USA Twitter account tweeted out Captain L'America.
What?
The Team USA Twitter account, just a picture of LeBron dunking or something, and put Captain L-E America instead of LeBron L'America. It's on Basketball Reference as one of his nicknames now.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. I thought we were talking about Kevin Durant. And then,
no.
Okay. Yeah, but this game could have looked very differently in the first half if
KD didn't just go Super Saiyan.
If that would have happened, he just would have missed a couple of his 8 shots that he took in the first half and made all of. And if Serbia just made a few of their wide open threes that they missed, I think Bogdanovic missed the first 5 shots that he took.
He did not look good early.
Yeah.
He ended pretty strong, but he did not look good early.
I mean, all of them were rimming out, but it's just none of them went in, Serbia as a whole, they got better. I felt like they had higher quality shots for a lot of that first half than US was getting, but they weren't making them.
Only a really good defensive wing that could help out with that.
I think Embiid is the issue there, to be honest.
No, it definitely was.
Every lineup, every time Embiid is in the game, the other team gets such good shots because Embiid does not follow anybody on the perimeter. And so
he's just not healthy. Or Steve Kerr's stupider than I think he is and says, stay in the paint like an Eskimo. Don't leave the paint. Not an Eskimo. What's the word I'm looking for? A hermit. Stay in the paint like it's a hermit and it's your cave. Don't leave the paint, Joel. That would be the dumbest thing anybody's ever said. Because guess what? That's not how Team USA needs to play basketball.
Yeah.
France can do that because of the weird alien people that France has playing.
And that's their game plan. If we were to do that, Embiid would have to be a little bit more active in helping, which he still isn't. Even though he's not defending out to the perimeter, he's still not flying around contesting shots.
Who's the worst center that you would rather have than Joel Embiid with how he's played so far? Robert Williams, yes or no?
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? We're just going based off of how he's played so far, right? We're not factoring in who he is at all.
Oh, no, because then that would be no one. I want Joel Embiid. That's the only person I want.
Uh-huh.
Clint Capella. I went up. I need to go down.
No, I think that's down from Robert Williams. Clint Capella at this point.
DeAndre Dominating Ayton.
It's about the same as. I mean, I don't like him, but he's probably about the same as Robert Williams. Let's be fair. But I'm not a big Dominating fan, so I probably wouldn't choose him personally.
But like, who's the worst center that you can think of that you would rather have?
Let's see. Let's think of American centers. Obviously, I'd rather have Chet. I'd rather have Hartenstein. I'd rather have Duop Reith. He's not American, but he got a DNP for Australia in the first game, so that's why I thought of it. Just about any like real rotation NBA center, because I think they will be a good like fill-in spot for this team if they need minutes from him, but like he would be a DNP without any much of a fuss or like
with any drama.
Yeah. So
that was a bad thing to just put you on the spot for. But
yeah, it's a little bit of a tough mind problem, but
just to like pull out like a 5 out of 10 center, and what's the worst one that you feel like it's just low. The bar is low.
Yes, very low.
Disturbingly, Paul Reed. Would you rather have Paul Reed or Joel Embiid?
Paul Reed probably, just based on how they played.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
I feel like that might be the floor. That's got to be near the floor.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, the thing you brought up about Bam and AD as a defensive front court is that's like what Jokic probably would if Jokic had nightmares about basketball.
It would be that.
It would be that. Yeah. Especially in the first that showcase game, that was like as soon as they switched to that, it was like wow. And now we see what like a Western Conference team needs to assemble in order, like what the Lakers need is Bam Adebayo to just.
Well, no, because it's literally just like Rudy Gobert and Cat, but like athletic and less foul prone.
Mm-hmm. Like if Cat was like an all defensive center, and then if Rudy was like
shorter,
super versatile and could like guard on the perimeter and fly, just do anything on defense, not just protect the rim, but do everything else.
I wish there was more like intentional team ups like that.
Yeah, not
as many like guard. I want to just have a menace, just 2 defensive menaces.
Yeah, neither of them are great spacers, but when you have,
Bam, I think Bam secretly has it in his bag somewhere.
I mean,
also I am convinced that when KP leaves the Celtics, Bam Adebayo will be a Celtic. Their contract years line up.
Oh, yeah. Could happen. Because he's buddies with Jason Tatum.
If Jason Tatum ends up a member of the I Will Kill Myself, if he ends up playing for the Miami Heat, I will die. I will be devastated.
Mm-hmm.
That it can't happen that way. It's got to be the other way around. Unacceptable the other way.
Yeah.
I would cry. I would legitimately cry.
Yeah, that'd be like if Jokic went to the Mavericks instead of Luka coming to the Nuggets. Yeah. That would devastate me as well.
I don't even know like the words I could. Yeah, no, I can't do it. This can't happen. I just spoke something into existence and I want to take it back. I want to suck it back into my lungs and not even put that idea in the universe.
Fair. I guess the last thing I do want to bring up revolving around the Tatum topic was the meme that I saw of Derek White. Like, it's like Derek White and, gave what his caption was or his quote. And it was like, hey, Jason, can you hand me my water? That was just like.
It's because the Jason Tatum hate is at Mount Everest level peaks.
No, it is. It really is.
We recently, like, it just came out, like, recently to us, it'll be later for other people, the clip of me saying, get ready, Luka fans, having to just defend your very clearly all-star NBA player from just stupid people on the internet. I thought that I was done. Was I wrong? When me in that clip was so wrong, I was further from the safety of being people will stop. It's like Jason Tatum needs to ask Adam Silver to start a franchise in St. Louis, go there, win a championship by himself with exclusively Y League players. That's the only way that he will be recognized as great in some of these people's eyes. But those memes were brutal. Those were tough.
Yeah, they were.
And then
he's on the cover of 2K25. There's a
love that. I'm buying 2K because of that.
Yeah.
I did the same thing for Tom Brady and Kyrie when they were on the covers in the same year.
Yeah. I think 2K18, right?
That because it was Madden 18 and 2K18. Unfortunate. Hopefully, the Tatum one doesn't end up the same way.
That's true. Yeah, 2 for 2 so far. Those players have left the team.
Double cry.
But yeah, so I guess so Jokic playing against Bam and AD is like a pairing is just because Bam guards Jokic one-on-one and then AD is roaming. That just makes it tough. And then also Serbia is like, obviously they come from a different like world of basketball. Like Serbia, like a
different school. Yeah,
a different school of basketball. There's like a lot of history and tradition in the country of Serbia in regards to basketball. Two of the biggest EuroLeague, what do they call them? Clubs are in Serbia, Partizan and Red Star. But like their head coach, like I guess just the philosophy around how they defend the 3-point line is interesting to me. I don't think they went over a single screen in this game. Like, other than maybe on Steph Curry. That might have been the only guy they were fighting over screens on. But they were going under on everybody else. Like Drew Holiday, Booker. It's just Kevin Durant. Yeah, it's like, why? What is the purpose of that? I don't understand that. But like, if you saw an NBA team doing that, that would be like endlessly. That would be like more memed than like the Bucks' weird playoff decisions and how they play it against. That's kind of
how the Kings play defense, isn't it?
I guess
if it's not Davion Mitchell, that's like what everyone else does.
Oh, maybe. Keon Ellis probably, I would say, would fight over screens most of the time, depending on who he's guarding.
I just know that it always felt like De'Aaron Fox, like, I'm fast enough, I'm going underneath, I'll get back in time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that might not be totally correct, but in my brain, I feel like he goes underneath screens a lot more than the average person.
Oh, he probably does himself, yeah. I wouldn't doubt that. Especially because of how fast he is, He's like, I'm fast enough, I can get out there unless they are like Steph Curry. Then no one can get out there fast enough unless your name is Victor and you're 7 foot something and you do it from the paint. Yeah, so that's a good transition. We can talk about France a little bit. Victor Wembanyama.
Bad. Just kidding. That's not totally true.
I mean, he's looked really good himself, obviously.
At the end of today. I was watching this Japan game, hoping that my boy Keisei Tominaga would be cooking.
Yeah, he only got 6 seconds.
Didn't play. Because the point guard for Japan had 29 points. The direct position that Keisei would play.
In the first game, too, Keisei only had
Keisei doesn't play much.
I think it was not a minute. It was under a minute. I think both games he's gotten in, but hasn't eclipsed a minute for some reason.
Yeah. Wemby did not look good until overtime, where he had an 8-0 run by himself.
I mean, didn't he hit 2 threes to start the game?
And then he had 4 points from then through the rest of the game.
But he wasn't really inefficient. I mean, he was 18, 11, and 6. 18 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. He was 46% from the field.
It was more just the offense struggled. It struggled.
Yeah, I mean, they have a very clunky... Also,
Wemby, 46% from the field is different than
Well, when he's shooting a lot of outside shots, it's not that crazy. But, he was shooting a lot of jumpers. He had 5 of his 13 attempts were from 3. Yes, he was 3 of 8 on 2s, which is not great. But yeah, he's 3 for 3 from the free throw line. So, I mean, overall, it's a pretty efficient game. He played 31 minutes. It's just, I think France's offense is just bound to be very clunky because of how they put their roster together, and how they use their lineups.
Frank Ntilikina played more minutes in an Olympic game than Jason Tatum today.
For a different country.
I know, but it still makes me mad.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that about a lot of guys that are not even close to as good as Jason Tatum. That's for sure. Evan Fournier was looking good. The namesake of last episode, he had 14 points.
on 18 shots.
5 of 18, so I kind of take that back, actually. Only 28% from the field.
Do we want to highlight some of the bench legends for France?
Yeah, especially you want to attempt to...
Celtics legend, Yabo.
Yeah. Yabusele. Gershon, I think is how you say his first name. Gershon Yabusele.
That feels right. 18 minutes, 13 points.
Mm-hmm.
Had an absolute heater.
Oh, he was 3 for 6 from 3.
Yeah, dude. Celtics weren't wrong. They were just early.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind him as an NBA player, to be honest, as a ninth man or something. But
I hope he gets like another run at it.
Yeah. I mean, he might be making more in Europe right now, depending. He's playing at Real Madrid, so I wouldn't doubt it. Apparently, that's what team he's on right now. So yeah, the French team. Did you want to bring up how, like, the controversy, I guess, of how this game concluded?
So Japan got out to a very early. They got ahead at the end. Their point guard.
Let me find
Kawamura, I believe.
Kawamura, yeah, I would say
Kawamura is very fun and very good at basketball. And he had a pretty good stretch. Hachimura had a couple good moments. They just looked really good today. Their offense did. Got ahead on France, coming down to the final seconds of the game. Throwing up a last-second three, it was Strazel, I think. Strazel. He's in the corner, shoots a three. Someone contests, but from every angle I have seen, does not make contact with him. They're down 4. Hits the three, and then gets fouled. Big air quotes on the foul. And that lets them tie it, take it to overtime. Wemby has 8 points, goes on an 8-0 run. They win 94-90 to go 2-0 in their group.
Yeah.
The foul was not there. There's no world there's a foul. And you pointed out something that I hadn't seen anybody point out. It's a very good point. The ref that made the call, I guess you can make, you're the one that saw it.
Yeah, so what I noticed upon reviewing it was the ref who made the call was the ref that was directly behind the shooter. So she couldn't actually even see the contact that she was blowing the whistle for. She just was reacting to the hitch that the shooter made when he reached his apex. Because, sometimes you'll do that when it's like a little, you're just trying to readjust to try to get the ball going. Also, you're trying to get a foul called, in that situation. So you shoot it a bit awkwardly. And she just reacted to the way that it looked from directly behind the shooter, that she just assumed that there was contact in front, like on the front side, but she couldn't actually even see, which should be the ref on the other side of the 3-point line, on the other wing, who has a way better view looking directly on at the shot, at the contest. That should be his call, not the person right behind the shooter. But that's just why. It's just especially for the magnitude of the call, like the moment and what it amounted to, No, it
literally, Japan, I don't want to say wins that game, but that knocked Japan out of group play, or knocked them out of a chance at a quarterfinal.
Yeah. They would have been up by 1.
Because they could still go out and play, but
I mean, they also could have lost the game because there was a couple.
The shot went in, yeah. So they would have just been up by 1.
And there was a couple seconds left that they would have to inbound the ball and everything. Disasters worse have happened.
Yes.
But
shout out to the Pacers.
Yeah, or the bird with the steal. I love the legendary call.
Yeah, there's been a lot worse things, but just the level, the impact that had on the game, and not saying Japan was going to be making noise in the quarterfinal play, but
yeah.
There's a chance that this lets France dodge a U.S. in the first round, dodge just because of the way they'll seed things now.
Canada, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They'll be able. I mean, granted, their consolation prize for not playing the United States might be Serbia, which isn't great, but there's just chances that this means more, and it just is irritating to me.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, definitely makes sense, and I think that was a definitely not a foul. And what makes it even worse is the person who called it couldn't even see if there was a foul, technically. So it's a bit, annoying. I could see from the Japanese point of view that they feel like they were stolen one, they had one taken away from them. But I guess other notable things to mention from this Olympics so far. Greece is down in a hole right now. They've lost their first two games in the group play stage, which is, I think, basically a death sentence for them at this point.
2 teams get in as a wild card, but I would not wager it will be Greece.
Because I think they've lost by a decent... Well, they lost by a close one in the second game against Spain. It was like 7 points.
But that's if they can pull out a win against Australia. That's who they have third, right?
Yes.
That's their third game.
They have to play Australia next, which they've been playing very well.
Yeah.
Even though they lost against Canada, but it was a hard-fought battle, and Giddey has been really good as the focal point of that team. Patty Mills had a huge game 1, so if he catches fire again, that's going to be a hard team to beat once again. But with Greece, though, I mean, it's Giannis, who very well may be the best player on planet Earth right now, but it's the countries, the talent on these teams, on these rosters. It's a team sport. It's hard to carry everything, even if you're the level player of Giannis, which he's been dominant. There's no blame really to go around to him in these first 2 games. So
is Giannis, is he the one that said that winning a gold would mean more to him than winning an NBA championship? Or was that someone else at the international?
I've heard somebody say that before for sure. I can't remember who it was, though. That might have been Giannis, and there might have been even an American player who said that.
Probably Melo coping.
No, I think it's more recent. But
Luka. Winning gold with Slovenia would mean more than an NBA championship. He wants it all, but winning a gold would mean more to him.
Which he's already won a FIBA World Cup gold with Slovenia when he was 17.
I feel like he knows that the Olympics is probably the time to do it because you're getting the best.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. But
also, what would France do with Joel Embiid? That's backtracking a little bit. There would be just it would just be excess.
What would France do with Joel Embiid?
Like to have him on the roster.
If they had him.
How would you approach that?
Yeah, that would be weird for sure. No, I mean, he could play 3 maybe. I don't know what they would do. But, I mean, especially if he was in this, how he's been playing for Team USA.
Honestly, is there a world you put Wemby at the 3 instead?
Yeah, I mean...
I think that's probably the correct world. You put Gobert at the 5, Embiid at the 4, and Wemby at the 3.
Yeah, honestly. That would be a way to do it. And both of them, on the offensive end, can handle a wing. But obviously...
I feel like Wemby's got a slight edge in that category.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. Being how thin he is. He's more like a KD. But Joel the way he moves when he's healthy is weird. He looks like he's in the body of David Robinson or Hakeem Olajuwon, but he moves like he's more like Tracy McGrady sometimes. Older Tracy McGrady, I'd say, but just a tall wing. But I guess moving on to another notable topic, Canada. We've mentioned them in passing, but Jamal Murray. I saw a meme that was I don't know if you've seen this, but it said, if my kids ever ask me how good Nikola Jokic is, I'm showing them this clip. And it's a clip of Jamal getting stripped, or not even getting stripped. I think it was just him when he was trying to cross somebody up.
Much.
Yeah, and he just lost the ball.
Which I think is very valid, because we've talked about it before, who has the better duo, the Celtics or the Nuggets? If you take them and put them as individuals and don't put Jamal Murray next to Jokic, he's like a fighting to be in the top 25, fighting.
Oh, yeah, I don't even think he's there, to be honest.
He's top 50?
That's probably closer. He might even...
That's a more accurate fair statement than saying top 25 would be top 50.
Yeah, and I don't think he's even proven that he would be top 50
without Jokic.
And in his time that he's had without Jokic.
But with Jokic, this is not what we're saying, people that are trying to attack us on the internet. This is without Jokic alone, not with Jokic. Because with Jokic, he has flashes of, I'm top 15.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe higher.
Yeah.
Keyword, flashes.
Flashes. That's the big thing. He's not been able to prove for a regular season for sure, even that he's an all-star level player, So it's an interesting topic, like the way people view Jamal Murray, like where his ranking is in the league. I do think the perception that he has is helped oftentimes by having Jokic as like the engine of the team, that he gets so many
feed off of
easy shots like per game that he would just not be able to get otherwise if he was not with Jokic. But
if you swap, this is another, I'm just getting into all hypotheticals. Like if you swap Jamal Murray and De'Aaron Fox, who's better?
I mean, I don't love De'Aaron Fox playing the Jamal role on the Nuggets because of obviously like shooting is not his forte.
Yeah, and they don't have shooting ever. Like Jamal's a big part of their shooting.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't it would still be a really good team, obviously. But I don't know if he's necessarily 100% better than Jamal is in that role alongside Jokic. Like Jamal's skill set is a very, very good complement to Jokic. Don't get me wrong. Like Jokic having Jamal, obviously that helps him a lot too. It gets him a lot of easy baskets or easy assists per game. For sure, but we have also seen Jokic 1,000 times over prove how good of a player he is without Jamal Murray on the court next to him.
What we saw Sunday.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray was not there.
Yeah.
He looked pretty good.
Just about as good as you can look with like having a team that's even more than the Timberwolves were built to beat him, having a team that is just kind of impossible to beat, but it'll be interesting to see if that game were to play out a little bit differently in terms of the shooting luck. If we have another game between the two of them, I'd be interested to see if Serbia could maybe pull off an upset. I think that would be one of the main contenders to do so against the U.S. But the other thing, obviously, with Canada that we should probably mention is how good Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has played, especially in the first game. The second game, he wasn't quite, but actually, no, I take that back because he was 8 of 10. I think he was just kind of, taking this one off.
Letting RJ Barrett be nuts.
And Dylan Brooks go off for 16. And Jamal I think he had 8 the first game and he only had 5 points is what I'm talking about in the second game. Which, not too great, not too pretty. And also, in the showcase games, he's not looked that great either.
He's looked very bad outside of, honestly, since the regular season. Has Jamal Murray looked good for more than, a quarter since they won a title?
I think he had at least... Did he have a good game in the playoffs?
If anything, it was game 3.
3.
But that felt more like he had a really, really hot quarter.
I want to say, didn't he score? I think he had one game that he scored 32. And that wasn't game 3, I don't think. I might be wrong, but I would think that he had one game that was a bigger performance for him. And we lost in the second. That's a weird thing. But I was trying to think. There's a Lakers series, there was the Wolves series, and I was like, what was the other one? But there was only 2. There probably wasn't a lot of. He didn't have a lot of shots, I guess, at the Apple, or whatever that's saying.
He had 35 points in Game 7.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Game 7, he looked really. Him and Jokic both played out of their minds, but every other Nugget was the worst they have ever been. It was. I think the
Jamal was also -8 on 35 points.
Yeah, but I mean, he staggers with the second unit, so that's not saying much. He has to play a lot without Jokic out there. So, but yeah, the rest of the team though, outside of Jamal and Jokic, I think combined for less than 20 points. I want to say. I think this.
If you scored 90, and how many did Jokic have Game 7?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was probably like 20 something, low 20s. No, I think he had like 30. I want to say actually. You didn't have that up?
I'm pulling it up.
Oh, okay.
You were close.
Which
Jokic and Murray combined. This is tough. For 69 points, and they scored 90.
So 21.
21 points
was the rest of the Nuggets.
The supporting cast. Michael Porter Jr. went 3 for 12.
Mm-hmm. He had a terrible play. I mean, he had a really good first like 3-4 games of the playoffs against the Lakers, and then after that was abysmal, which was tough. Aaron Gordon just was lost in Game 7.
Does that show up on your OBS too?
It shows bubbles up on literally everything. Yeah, it's like just in the camera for some reason. For the audio listeners, it's when I make a like gesture because I have a MacBook or a Mac computer. It will do a like emoji on the camera for when I do a certain gesture that will set it off. So that's just another reason, if you want to watch these episodes on YouTube, you can see fun stuff like that. Is often interrupting what we're talking about. But the Nuggets, that game though it was rough. Jacob is covering it. You look like you're crying almost. Are you okay?
I was trying to figure out how to turn off your reactions. The thread starts with, I am a telehealth provider. Today, balloons went off while a patient was talking about a tragic situation. Oh, man.
Because you do the peace sign? Is that what makes the balloons
I don't remember.
go off?
I think, yeah.
That's what it is.
So you just make some sort of, and balloons went off.
Yeah.
Secondly, it led to the client wondering if telehealth platform is actually HIPAA compliant. There needs to be a way to turn this feature off permanently. Turning it off every time you see 5 to 10 clients a day is not practical. Is there any way to do that?
Turning off every time? Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Isn't practical? Yeah. No,
it's just sense. Funny to me that a telehealth provider, someone was saying like something terrible. Yeah. And they might have been like sitting like this or something, and balloons went off when they're talking about like something terrible medical related. That's funny. For me, after the fact.
Yeah, sad funny.
Not just regular funny for me, but yeah. Sad funny for them.
Yeah, but I guess getting back to what we were talking about, Jamal and having a good game. He had one good game in the playoffs, and that was Game 7 against the Wolves. But I guess we don't need to continue to rehash that, to be honest. But I guess other thoughts on the Olympic tournament outside of what we have already talked. I mean, LeBron, we've barely talked about. We just kind of talked about as he's playing a lot because you were mad about
just really good.
Yeah, but he's playing very, very good. Is the patriarch of Team USA. And then Spain, I don't think we brought them up in the episode yet. We were talking about them off air, but the Spain team is pretty fun. Rudy Fernandez from, the Team USA versus Spain games of old. I think all the way back in the 2008 Olympics was when he was going off for like 37 points in a medal game against the US. He is continuing to do that, not at the same volume, seeing as he's 40 years old now, but he is still playing for his nation of Spain, and had some of the biggest shots of the game in that Greece game today that closed it out. He had one really deep three that was in the late closing minutes of the game. I think he was 3 of 6 from the 3-point line, and that was also all of the shots he took in the game. So, he knows his role. But yeah, I think that Spain, it's like not, obviously they're historically like a powerhouse in Olympics and FIBA play. They're not the same Spain team that they used to be, but they're like
the torch has been passed.
Yeah, but this team though has been playing above its weight class, estimated weight class so far. Santi Aldama has been their best player, but he has looked like a Spanish Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah.
It's been kind of gross.
The new, moving into the future, it feels like the powerhouse of Europe will be on the other side of the Iberian Mountains, I think is that mountain range. I might be wrong.
I think they're the Pyrenees Mountains.
Pyrenees? Or is that Italy, in between Italy and France?
No, Pyrenees is Spain and France, because that's where...
Oh, it's the Iberian Peninsula. I'm a stupid person.
I was about to say Iberia is the peninsula.
France is going to be a problem for a very long time.
Yes, France is definitely going to be a very... Especially if Victor Wembanyama is going to be, representing them pretty continually.
That'd be hilarious if he pulls a Joel Embiid. That'd be so funny.
Oh, yeah.
If he's like, I've been in the U.S. for 12 years now.
I doubt that will happen. That would really surprise me.
That'd be wild.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Team USA should have the obligation to be like, no.
Yeah. And also something to correct from before when we were talking about Joel Embiid, I was slightly wrong of when he came over. It was actually his sophomore year of high school. Or no, junior year of high school. I said senior year. It's actually his junior
high
year.
School.
Yeah. When he was 16. It's not 17. So it was a pretty, young. A lot of people, who come over from different countries at 16, by the time they're like 30 is like, it's not weird to consider them American or like them for them to consider themselves American.
That's like that's the whole thing. Like it's the great melting pot.
So it makes sense from that standpoint, but also like with basketball players, I think
a different world.
It's weird to be like, oh, like it just feels like all the basketball players on Team USA should be just like strictly, born in Ohio or like, has to be landlocked states. I'm hyperbolizing, obviously.
Yeah.
But
we say that until there's some just freak in nature that's on the island of Oahu that we're gonna miss out on because of that comment. It's got to be landlocked.
Is that one of the Hawaiian islands, Oahu?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think it's the main one. It's the one that Honolulu's on, I believe.
Isn't one of the islands called Hawaii?
That's the biggest one.
Oh, gotcha.
Maui's the one that was on fire for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It was a paradise resort type of vibe. The really touristy one is Honolulu or Oahu. And then I think like Waikiki is one, or maybe that's just a beach.
Yeah. I mean, we had Tim Duncan playing for Team USA, and he's from the Virgin Islands. So, which is just weird. There's a weird amount of NBA players that come from the Virgin Islands. There's been like four or five.
Baseball and like
Dominican
Caribbean
Republic.
countries. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what the odds of you being an MLB player if you're born in the Dominican Republic, but it's probably disgustingly high.
Yeah, but I think the Dominican Republic is a significantly larger population than, I think Virgin Islands is like 100,000 people, I want to say.
Oh, wow.
Something like that. But yet, Tim Duncan, Nick Claxton, Raja Bell, and I think a couple other guys who have been NBA players are all born and raised there. Like, didn't leave there, really, growing up. Which is just interesting. They have like a bit of a basketball culture there. And it's also funny that all of them, especially Raja and Tim Duncan, both just kind of have like pretty American, like standard American sounding accents. Like especially Tim Duncan just talks like a
guy.
But yeah, I guess closing out this episode, did you see that Tim Duncan interview that he did with Richard Jefferson?
No.
That was actually really good. I would recommend it. Yeah, because it's like the first time Tim Duncan has showed his face in front of a camera in years. But yeah, it was funny, him being interviewed by Richard Jefferson. But yeah, I think that can do it for this episode. We just wanted to tackle some of the Olympics thoughts and stuff. Not really get into any of the other things in this episode, which there are some other things we can start to get into, including our top 10 moving into next season. Top 10 players in the league, or in the world, really. Shout out Noah Lyles. Which, yeah, that is another thing. I saw some people saying that, or I saw a video. I don't know if I sent it to you or not, but it was a meme video of like a guy walking around at a cookout, kind of like walking around, like trying to interact with all the people that were like interacting with each other. and like he's just kind of being left out of everything. And the caption was Noah Lyles trying to hang out with the NBA players on the team bus or the US bus and stuff like that, which I thought was funny. And in the comments on there, like a lot of the people that were still like, but he was right though. He's correct.
I know. I think your sentence of "he was right in the most meaningless way possible."
Yeah,
that's the correct answer. He was not wrong, but he was correct in the most meaningless way possible.
Yeah, it's really just a semantics thing that it comes down to, and I think that's kind of dumb because why do you get to decide what world champion means? Why does it have to be, athletes representing a flag or representing a country? I get that means something different to people, and I think that was his whole point, which I understand that. But not to get into this a whole year later now, I think we can probably put that to rest and close this one out. So thank you guys for listening. We really appreciate it. Do all the stuff I said at the beginning, or we said at the beginning rather. Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee. Both those websites, the links of those are in the show description as well as the episode description, wherever you're listening to this or watching this. And stay happy, stay healthy. We will talk to you guys next episode.
Pay Matt Judon. Peace. You can use either of those.
I'll probably use both.
Sit.